Imagine standing on a planet where the sky is a dusty pink, the ground is a barren red desert, and the temperature can drop to 80 degrees Fahrenheit at night. A place so hostile, yet so intriguing that it has captured the imagination of scientists and dreamers alike. Welcome to Science Nerd. Today we're tackling one of the biggest questions of our time. Can humans live on Mars? And if so, what would life there actually look like? Let's dive in. As we explore the possibility of human life on Mars, we must first understand the extreme challenges that come with living on the red planet. Mars, with its thin atmosphere and harsh climate, is nothing like Earth. Its atmosphere is composed almost entirely of carbon dioxide, making it impossible for humans to breathe without the aid of technology. The surface is bombarded with radiation from the sun, and temperatures can swing drastically between day and night. Yet despite these formidable conditions, the allure of Mars remains strong. Scientists believe that with the right technology, humans could survive and even thrive on Mars. One of the most critical challenges is creating a sustainable environment. This includes generating breathable oxygen, sourcing water, and growing food, all of which are scarce on Mars. In situ resource utilization, or ISRU, could be the key to solving these problems. By using the materials already available on Mars, such as extracting oxygen from carbon dioxide or mining ice for water, settlers could reduce their dependence on supplies from Earth. But the challenges don't end there. The Martian soil, or regolith, is toxic to most Earth plants, meaning traditional agriculture might not be possible. Instead, scientists are exploring alternatives like hydroponics and aeroponics, methods of growing plants without soil. These systems could be set up in climate-controlled environments, shielded from the harsh Martian conditions. Energy is another critical factor. Mars receives less sunlight than Earth, so solar power, while useful, would need to be supplemented with other sources like nuclear energy. NASA is already working on small, portable nuclear reactors that could provide the necessary power for future colonies. Living on Mars would require not just physical adaptation, but psychological resilience as well. The isolation and distance from Earth, coupled with the challenges of living in a small, close-knit community, could take a toll on mental health. Mars settlers would need robust support systems to manage the stress and maintain their well-being. But with all these obstacles, why do we continue to dream of life on Mars? For many, it's the ultimate challenge, a test of our ability to adapt and survive in the most extreme environments. For others, it's a chance to start anew, to build a society from the ground up with the lessons we've learned on Earth. Mars represents not just a challenge, but an opportunity to push the boundaries of human potential and to ensure the long-term survival of our species. As we move closer to making this dream a reality, the questions become not just about survival, but about the kind of life we want to create on Mars. What values will guide us? How will we build a society that is sustainable and just? These are the questions we'll explore as we imagine the future of humanity on Mars. So buckle up, because the journey to Mars is just beginning. To fully grasp what life on Mars might entail, let's consider what daily life could look like for the first Martian settlers. Imagine waking up in a habitat designed to protect you from the extreme environment outside. The walls of your living quarters are thick, possibly made from Martian regolith or advanced composite materials, designed to shield you from radiation and maintain a stable temperature. You step into a small, controlled environment where every breath you take, every sip of water, and every bite of food is carefully monitored and managed. The air you breathe is generated through a complex system that extracts oxygen from the Martian atmosphere or from water that has been mined and purified. The water you use is recycled endlessly, a precious resource that cannot be wasted. Your food is grown in hydroponic or aeroponic farms, where plants are cultivated without soil, their roots bathed in nutrient-rich solutions. These farms are housed in pressurized greenhouses, protected from the harsh Martian climate. Outside, the landscape is a vast, barren expanse of red dust and rocky terrain. You might venture out to explore, but only in a specially designed spacesuit that protects you from the extreme cold and low atmospheric pressure. Your movements are deliberate and slow, as the lower gravity of Mars, about 38% of Earth's, makes every step feel like a small leap. Communication with Earth is limited. Messages take between 5 to 20 minutes to travel each way, depending on the relative positions of the planets. This delay means that real-time conversations are impossible, and you must carefully plan your interactions with mission control and loved ones back home. Despite these challenges, the sense of adventure is palpable. You are part of something historic, a mission that could change the course of human history. You and your fellow settlers are pioneers, charting a path for future generations to follow. But this pioneering spirit comes with immense responsibility. Every decision made on Mars must consider the long-term sustainability of the colony. Resources are limited and mistakes could be costly. Living on Mars will require a new kind of resilience, one that combines technical expertise with the ability to adapt to an ever-changing environment. Over time, the colony would grow, with new settlers arriving as infrastructure is built and the means to support more people are established. Cities could eventually emerge, designed with efficiency and sustainability in mind. These cities might be built underground or within large domes, protecting inhabitants from the harsh surface conditions. But as the colony expands, so too do the questions about its future. What kind of society will be built on Mars? How will the settlers govern themselves? Will they replicate the political systems of Earth, or will they forge new ones, better suited to life on another planet? And what about the relationship with Earth? Will Mars be an independent entity, or will it remain under the control of terrestrial governments? These questions are not just theoretical, they are essential to the planning and execution of any Mars mission. Because while the technology may be within our grasp, the human element, the social, psychological, and ethical considerations will ultimately determine the success of life on Mars. So as we dream of a future on the red planet, we must also think deeply about the kind of world we want to create there. A world that reflects our highest aspirations, not just our technological achievements. A world where humanity can thrive, not just survive. This is the challenge and the promise of life on Mars. As we continue to explore what it would take to live there, we must remember that Mars is more than just a destination. It's a mirror, reflecting our hopes, fears, and dreams for the future. And it's up to us to decide what that future will look like. While contemplating the potential for human life on Mars, it becomes essential to envision the long-term prospects. What might a fully established Martian society resemble? Could it begin as a small, self-sustaining colony, eventually expanding into a new civilization? One of the most captivating possibilities is terraforming, the notion of transforming Mars into a more Earth-like planet. This ambitious endeavor would involve altering the planet's atmosphere, temperature, and surface conditions to make it more suitable for human habitation. The concept of terraforming Mars has fascinated both scientists and science fiction enthusiasts for decades. However, the practicality of such an endeavor remains uncertain. Transforming Mars could take centuries, if not millennia, requiring enormous technological advancements. A logical starting point might involve increasing the planet's temperature. By releasing greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, we could potentially trap heat from the sun, gradually warming the planet. As temperatures rise, the polar ice caps might begin to melt, releasing water and possibly thickening the atmosphere. This process could eventually lead to the formation of liquid water on the surface, resulting in rivers, lakes, and perhaps even seas. With a denser atmosphere and more abundant water, Mars might start to take on a more Earth-like appearance. Nevertheless, significant challenges persist. Mars lacks a magnetic field, leaving its atmosphere vulnerable to erosion by solar winds. Any attempt to terraform the planet would need to address this issue, perhaps through the creation of artificial magnetic fields or by continuously replenishing the atmosphere. The ethical implications of terraforming are equally important. Mars is a pristine environment, untouched by life as we know it. Should humanity undertake such a radical transformation? Some argue that we have a responsibility to preserve Mars in its natural state, serving as a scientific laboratory for studying the origins of the solar system and the potential for extraterrestrial life. Conversely, others view terraforming as a natural extension of humanity's drive to explore and colonize new frontiers. It's seen as a means to ensure the long-term survival of our species by establishing a secondary location for civilization in case of a catastrophe on Earth. This debate raises fundamental questions about humanity's role in the universe. Are we stewards of other planets, or is our destiny to reshape them to meet our needs? As we advance our plans for Mars exploration and potential colonization, these are the questions that demand thoughtful consideration. Beyond terraforming, the growth of a Martian society would also depend heavily on the development of its economy. Initially, the economy would likely rely on support from Earth, with resources, technology, and expertise being transported from our home planet. Over time, however, as the colony becomes more self-sufficient, a unique Martian economy could begin to emerge. This economy might revolve around mining the planet's rich deposits of iron, silicon, and other valuable minerals. Mars could also become a hub for scientific research, with laboratories studying everything from planetary geology to the potential for life beyond Earth. Tourism might also play a significant role, with adventurous travelers willing to pay a premium to experience life on another planet. The success of a Martian economy would hinge on its ability to innovate and adapt. The harsh conditions and isolation from Earth would compel settlers to develop new technologies and survival strategies. These innovations could lead to breakthroughs that benefit not just Mars, but Earth as well. Ultimately, the vision of a thriving Martian society is one of collaboration and creativity. It would require the combined efforts of scientists, engineers, politicians, and visionaries from around the globe. And it would demand a shared commitment to building a future that is sustainable, just, and inclusive. The challenges of living on Mars are immense, but the opportunities are equally vast. They offer a chance to learn, to grow, and to push the boundaries of what is possible. Looking to the future, the question is not only whether we can live on Mars, but how we will choose to live there. Will we replicate the mistakes of the past or seize the chance to build something new and better? These are the questions that will define the future of humanity on Mars. As we continue our exploration, we must keep them at the forefront of our minds. The decisions made today will shape the world of tomorrow, on Earth, on Mars, and beyond. Looking beyond the initial challenges and long-term vision for a Martian society, it's also crucial to explore the implications for humanity's broader future. Mars isn't just a destination, it's a stepping stone to the stars. Establishing a presence on Mars could pave the way for even more ambitious endeavors, like venturing to the outer planets or even beyond our solar system. But before we can think about traveling to other stars, we need to ensure that our ventures to Mars are successful. This means developing not only the technology and infrastructure, but also the cultural and social frameworks that will support life on another world. One of the key questions is how we will manage the relationship between Earth and Mars. Will Martian colonies operate as independent entities, or will they remain under the governance of terrestrial nations? If Mars becomes self-sustaining, could it eventually declare independence from Earth? These are complex questions that will require careful consideration. The relationship between Earth and Mars will likely evolve over time, influenced by factors such as economic ties, technological advancements, and the growing identity of the Martian settlers. In the early stages, Martian colonies will be heavily dependent on Earth for supplies, technology, and expertise. However, as they develop their own industries and resources, this dependence will decrease. Mars could begin to forge its own path, developing a unique culture and identity distinct from Earth. The question of governance is equally complex. Will Mars adopt the political systems of Earth, or will it create something entirely new? The isolation and challenges of living on Mars might lead to the development of innovative governance structures, ones that are more suited to the realities of life on another planet. The history of colonization on Earth offers valuable lessons for this process. It's crucial that the mistakes of the past, such as the exploitation of resources and people, are not repeated on Mars. Instead, the focus should be on building a society that is equitable, sustainable, and inclusive. This means involving a diverse group of people in the planning and decision-making processes for Mars colonization. It also means ensuring that the benefits of Mars exploration are shared by all of humanity, not just a select few. As we look ahead, it's clear that the exploration of Mars has the potential to reshape not only our understanding of the universe, but also our place within it. The challenges are immense, but so are the opportunities. By pushing the boundaries of what is possible, we can learn more about our own planet, our solar system, and perhaps even life beyond Earth. Mars offers us a chance to start fresh, to build a society from the ground up with the lessons we've learned from our history. But this opportunity also comes with great responsibility. The decisions we make in the coming years will determine not only the future of Mars, but also the future of humanity as a spacefaring species. We must approach this endeavor with humility, recognizing the limits of our knowledge and the importance of preserving the integrity of the Martian environment. At the same time, we must be bold and visionary, willing to take risks and embrace the unknown. The journey to Mars is just beginning, but its implications will be felt for generations to come. It's a journey that will test our ingenuity, our resolve, and our capacity for cooperation. And it's a journey that, if successful, could open up a new chapter in the story of humanity. As we stand on the cusp of this new frontier, the future of Mars and the future of humanity remains unwritten. It's up to us to decide what that future will look like. Will we rise to the challenge and create a new world that reflects our highest ideals? Or will we repeat the mistakes of the past, carrying the same issues that plague us on Earth to the red planet? The choice is ours, and the time to make it is now. Living on Mars would require an entirely new approach to daily life, unlike anything experienced on Earth. The red planet's environment is harsh and unforgiving, demanding that settlers adapt to a host of challenges to survive and thrive. One of the most critical aspects of daily life on Mars would be the management of resources. Water, for instance, is a scarce and precious commodity on Mars. Although evidence suggests that water exists in the form of ice and possibly briny liquid beneath the surface, accessing and utilizing this water would be a significant challenge. Advanced technologies would be required to mine ice, purify it, and ensure it is safe for consumption and use. Every drop of water would need to be recycled and reused multiple times to sustain life, making water management systems a cornerstone of Martian infrastructure. Food production on Mars presents another formidable challenge. The Martian soil, known as regolith, is not suitable for traditional agriculture due to its toxic perchlorates and lack of essential nutrients. To overcome this, settlers would likely rely on hydroponic or aeroponic farming methods, where plants are grown in nutrient-rich solutions or mist environments without soil. These systems would need to be housed in controlled environments where factors such as temperature, humidity, and light are meticulously managed. The ability to grow food independently on Mars would be a crucial step towards self-sufficiency and long-term sustainability. Energy generation and management would also play a pivotal role in daily life on Mars. The planet receives only about 43% of the sunlight Earth does, which impacts the efficiency of solar panels. While solar power could still be a viable energy source, it would need to be supplemented by other forms of energy, such as nuclear reactors. NASA's development of small, portable nuclear reactors, known as kilopower, could provide a reliable and continuous power supply for Martian habitats. These reactors would generate electricity to power life support systems, research facilities, and other essential operations. The efficient use and distribution of energy would be vital to ensuring the colony's survival. Beyond the technical challenges, settlers on Mars would face significant psychological and social hurdles. The isolation and confinement associated with living in a small, tight-knit community millions of miles from Earth could lead to feelings of loneliness, anxiety, and even depression. Maintaining mental health in such an environment would require robust support systems, including regular communication with Earth, leisure activities, and psychological counseling. Social dynamics within the colony would also be critical. With a small population, the relationships between settlers would need to be carefully managed to avoid conflicts and ensure cooperation. The success of a Mars colony would depend not just on technological advancements, but also on the ability of its inhabitants to build a functioning, harmonious society. Daily life on Mars would be a delicate balance of managing limited resources, adapting to an extreme environment, and fostering a supportive community. While the challenges are immense, the potential rewards, both for the individuals involved and for humanity as a whole, are equally great. Mars offers the possibility of not just surviving, but of creating a new chapter in human history, where we prove that we can thrive even in the most hostile of environments. The dream of colonizing Mars is no longer confined to the pages of science fiction. It is becoming a realistic goal, driven by rapid advancements in technology and innovation. To transform this dream into reality, a variety of groundbreaking technologies will be essential. One of the first challenges in colonizing Mars is the construction of habitats that can protect settlers from the planet's harsh environment. Mars has a thin atmosphere that offers little protection from cosmic radiation and extreme temperatures. To address this, engineers are developing habitats that could be built using local materials like Martian regolith. 3D printing technology is expected to play a critical role in this process. By using autonomous robots equipped with 3D printers, it would be possible to construct durable structures directly on the Martian surface. These habitats would need to be well insulated, capable of maintaining stable temperatures, and shielded from radiation to ensure the safety of their inhabitants. Energy generation is another crucial aspect of sustaining a human presence on Mars. While solar power is a viable option, its effectiveness is reduced due to the lower intensity of sunlight on Mars compared to Earth. This limitation has led to the exploration of alternative energy sources, such as nuclear power. NASA's Kilopower project is developing small nuclear reactors that could provide a steady and reliable power supply for Martian colonies. These reactors are designed to be safe, efficient, and capable of operating in the challenging conditions of Mars. In addition to providing electricity, they could also be used to generate heat, which is vital for maintaining livable conditions and habitats. Water is one of the most critical resources for any human settlement, and finding reliable sources of water on Mars is a top priority. Current research suggests that there is water ice beneath the Martian surface, particularly near the poles. Advanced drilling technologies and autonomous robots will be essential for accessing this water. Once extracted, the water would need to be purified and distributed throughout the colony. Innovations in water recycling and conservation will also be critical, as every drop of water must be used as efficiently as possible. Food production on Mars will require innovative approaches as well. The toxic Martian soil makes traditional agriculture impossible, so settlers will need to rely on hydroponics and aeroponics to grow food. These methods allow plants to grow without soil, using nutrient-rich water or mist instead. Controlled environment agriculture, CEA, will enable settlers to create the ideal conditions for plant growth, including temperature, humidity, and light. LED lighting, which can be fine-tuned to provide the specific wavelengths of light that plants need for photosynthesis, will likely play a significant role in these systems. Another key technological challenge is the transportation of goods and people between Earth and Mars. Current space travel technology relies on rockets, which are costly and have limited payload capacities. However, companies like SpaceX are working on developing reusable rockets and spacecraft, such as the Starship, which are designed to reduce the cost of space travel and increase its efficiency. These advancements could make regular trips between Earth and Mars a reality, allowing for the transport of supplies, new settlers, and even tourists. Mars colonization also presents an opportunity for innovation in communication technologies. The average distance between Earth and Mars is about 225 million kilometers, which means that communication signals can take between 5 to 20 minutes to travel each way. This delay makes real-time communication impossible, which poses challenges for coordinating activities between the two planets. To overcome this, researchers are exploring the use of AI-driven communication systems that can help bridge the gap and ensure that critical information is transmitted and received efficiently. Finally, the success of Mars colonization will depend on the ability to innovate continuously. The challenges of living on Mars will require settlers to be resourceful and adaptable, using the technologies available to solve problems as they arise. This spirit of innovation will be key to overcoming the obstacles of Martian life and ensuring the long-term survival and growth of the colony. In summary, technology and innovation are the cornerstones of Mars colonization. From building habitats to generating energy, accessing water, producing food, and maintaining communication, every aspect of life on Mars will depend on our ability to develop and deploy advanced technologies. As we continue to push the boundaries of what is possible, the dream of living on Mars moves closer to becoming a reality. The colonization of Mars represents more than just a technological or scientific achievement. It marks a significant turning point in the future of humanity. As we take our first steps towards becoming an interplanetary species, The implications of this bold endeavor will ripple across every aspect of human life, reshaping our understanding of ourselves, our place in the universe, and the future we wish to build. One of the most immediate impacts of Mars colonization will be the expansion of human potential. The ability to live and thrive on another planet would demonstrate our capacity to overcome the most extreme challenges. It would be a testament to human ingenuity, resilience, and our relentless pursuit of exploration. This achievement could inspire generations to come, sparking a renewed interest in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM fields. Mars colonization might also catalyze a new wave of technological innovation. The challenges of living on Mars, such as generating sustainable energy, producing food in an inhospitable environment, and ensuring the health and safety of settlers, will drive the development of new technologies that could have applications far beyond the red planet. For example, advancements in renewable energy, water purification, and medical technologies developed for Mars could be adapted to address pressing issues on Earth, such as climate change, resource scarcity, and public health. Moreover, the colonization of Mars could fundamentally alter humanity's relationship with Earth. By establishing a presence on another planet, we would gain a new perspective on our homeworld. The fragility of Earth's environment might become more apparent, leading to a greater emphasis on sustainability and environmental stewardship. Mars could serve as a reminder of the importance of protecting our planet as we see firsthand the challenges of creating and maintaining a habitable environment on another world. The economic implications of Mars colonization are also profound. A successful colony on Mars could open up new economic opportunities, from mining resources that are scarce on Earth to developing space tourism and other industries. The growth of a space-based economy could lead to new markets, jobs, and industries that we can scarcely imagine today. However, these economic opportunities come with their own set of challenges. The exploitation of Martian resources raises important ethical questions. How do we ensure that the benefits of Mars colonization are shared equitably rather than being concentrated in the hands of a few powerful entities? What frameworks can be put in place to prevent the overexploitation of Martian resources, similar to what has happened on Earth? These questions will need to be addressed to ensure that Mars colonization contributes to a fair and just global economy. Socially and culturally, the colonization of Mars could lead to the emergence of a new identity, one that is not tied to a specific nation or continent, but to the shared experience of living on another planet. Martian settlers might develop their own culture, traditions, and values, influenced by the unique challenges and opportunities of life on Mars. This could lead to the creation of a truly global society, where the divisions of Earth are less relevant in the face of the common challenges and goals of Martian life. The impact of Mars colonization on our collective imagination should not be underestimated. Throughout history, exploration has been a powerful driver of human progress, pushing us to expand our horizons and challenge the limits of what is possible. Mars represents the next great frontier, a place where we can test our ideas, technologies, and values on a grand scale. The stories, art, and culture that emerge from our experiences on Mars could inspire humanity for centuries to come. Looking even further into the future, Mars colonization could be the first step towards humanity's expansion into the broader cosmos. If we can establish a sustainable presence on Mars, it could serve as a springboard for exploration and settlement of other planets and moons in our solar system, and eventually other star systems. This would mark a new era in human history, one where we are no longer confined to a single planet, but are instead a multiplanetary species. However, the journey to Mars and beyond also presents significant risks and challenges. The psychological and social impacts of living on another planet, the potential for conflicts over resources and governance, and the ethical implications of altering another world are all issues that will need to be carefully considered. The decisions we make in the coming decades will shape not only the future of Mars, but the future of humanity as a whole. In conclusion, the colonization of Mars has the potential to transform every aspect of human life. It will expand our understanding of what is possible, drive technological innovation, reshape our relationship with Earth, and offer new economic, social, and cultural opportunities. At the same time, it presents profound challenges that will require careful planning, ethical considerations, and a commitment to building a future that benefits all of humanity. As we stand on the brink of this new era, the choices we make today will determine the legacy we leave for future generations. Humanity's imminent steps on Mars represent only the beginning of a far larger journey, one that could eventually lead us beyond our solar system. The colonization of Mars is poised to be a monumental achievement, serving as a critical stepping stone for further exploration. With Mars as a base of operations, launching missions to the outer planets, their moons, and even distant star systems becomes more feasible. Among the most intriguing targets for future exploration are the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, particularly Europa, Enceladus, and Titan. These icy moons are believed to harbor subsurface oceans, raising the possibility of extraterrestrial life. Exploring these distant worlds will demand advanced technologies and considerable resources, making a Martian outpost an invaluable asset. By establishing a presence on Mars, launching missions to the outer reaches of the solar system becomes less daunting, given the lower gravity and reduced travel distances compared to Earth. The expertise and technologies honed during Mars colonization could be adapted and expanded to support these ambitious missions. Beyond the exploration of other planets and moons, Mars could serve as a hub for developing deep space exploration technologies. For example, constructing large-scale spacecraft and habitats for long-duration missions may be more feasible on Mars, where materials and fuel could be sourced locally. These spacecraft could be used for manned missions to the asteroid belt, tapping into valuable resources like metals and water ice. The asteroid belt holds vast potential for resources that could support not only the Martian colony, but also broader space exploration and industrialization efforts. Humanity's expansion into the solar system could lead to groundbreaking discoveries, particularly in the search for extraterrestrial life. The quest for life beyond Earth remains one of the most profound scientific endeavors, and Mars is only the beginning. Discovering life on another world, whether microbial life on Mars or more complex organisms on a distant moon, would fundamentally change our understanding of life in the universe. Such a discovery would prompt new questions about humanity's place in the cosmos and the potential for intelligent life elsewhere. In addition to the scientific and exploratory goals, the expansion of humanity into space presents significant opportunities for economic growth. The resources available in space, including minerals from asteroids, solar energy, and water from distant moons, could fuel a space-based economy that far exceeds Earth's limitations. This new economy could drive innovation, create jobs, and open new markets, making space exploration not just a scientific pursuit, but a crucial component of global economic development. However, with these opportunities come challenges and responsibilities. As humanity ventures further into space, we must carefully consider the ethical implications of our actions. The potential for environmental damage, resource exploitation, and the impact on any existing extraterrestrial life must be managed responsibly. International cooperation and the development of new legal frameworks will be essential to ensure that space exploration is conducted sustainably. Mars colonization could also eventually lead humanity beyond our solar system. Developing advanced propulsion technologies, such as nuclear fusion or antimatter engines, could make interstellar travel a reality. While these technologies are still in their infancy, the progress made in reaching and colonizing Mars could lay the foundation for their future development. The prospect of interstellar travel presents both exciting possibilities and profound questions. What kind of societies will we build as we venture further from Earth? How will we interact with any intelligent life we might encounter? And what does it mean to be human when we are no longer bound to a single planet? These questions will become increasingly relevant as humanity looks beyond Mars and toward the stars. Ultimately, exploring Mars and beyond is not just about expanding our physical presence in the universe. It is about expanding our horizons as a species. This journey challenges us to think beyond the limitations of our current world, to envision new possibilities, and to push the boundaries of what we can achieve. Standing on the brink of this new era, it is clear that the journey to Mars is only the beginning. The steps taken today will shape the future of space exploration for generations to come. The decisions made now will determine whether we use the resources and opportunities of space to build a better future for all of humanity or repeat the mistakes of the past on a cosmic scale. In conclusion, the colonization of Mars represents a new frontier not just for space exploration, but for humanity as a whole. It opens up a universe of possibilities, from the exploration of distant worlds to the development of new economies and societies. But with these possibilities come responsibilities, to each other, to our planet, and to the cosmos. Looking beyond Mars, the choices we make will define the legacy we leave behind, not just on Earth or Mars, but throughout the universe. We've explored what life on Mars could look like, but this is just the beginning. In our next video, we're diving even deeper into space. Stay tuned and let's uncover the secrets of the universe together.